Harley just quietly announced through its recent actions that it is preparing for either a major merger, going more private, or selling the entire damn company, which is putting an end to Harley as you know it today. This is something they've already done once upon a time by selling to AMF. Yes, that's the bowling pin company, but this time it's looking a little bit different. Recent actions reflected in SEC documents, if studied carefully, which I did, uncover some very interesting activity that no one is even talking about. I'm TJ Styles, just some tard that happens to work at TJ Brutal Customs. And by the end of this video, you will have taken a peek under Harley's skirt, uncovering all of her intentions. And nowadays, you can't be too careful.
That was a guard.
Now, under that skirt is some very interesting multi-billion, yes, billion-dollar activity going on behind the scenes, and it kind of resembles a murder scene cleanup job. Lucky for you, we've uncovered just what Harley is doing by selling off over $5 billion in debt, giving away almost 10% of one of its companies, raising $1.25 billion in cold, hard cash, whispering the launch of a dirt-cheap bike, kind of straying from its goal of premiumization, and bringing in a famous turnaround CEO, all while many feel that Harley is still ignoring the riders and dealerships amidst all this business chess. So what does it all mean? Well, we're going to find out, because in this video, I'm going to cover 1, what Harley just did and why they're doing it, or actually why I think they're doing it. 2, the new CEO's extremely interesting background that no one's actually talking about. 3, why the new CEO was really brought in. And number, what am I on, 6? 4, the big news that Harley may be dropping with their recent actions. If you think this new CEO dude is a total tasteless corporate douche nozzle with a little pocket protector, pump the brakes. Now, I've never met the guy, but one thing I do know, he sure is famous for turning things around fast, and as a result, getting companies ready to merge or sell. And in a minute, I'll share more on those facts that I uncovered from some SEC filings. Ooh, exciting. And one more thing, before I forget. The only way this channel grows is if you share it with someone. I don't advertise these videos, so is there someone you think would enjoy this video? Text it, WhatsApp it, Slack it, woof it.
You should have sent me a woof.
A what?
When you send a woof, it goes to your home phone, cell phone, email, Facebook, Twitter, and home screen, all at the same time.
Whatever. That helps the channel out a ton. Now, over the last 20 years, I have ridden countless bikes, built dozens more, flailed my way through building an aftermarket motorcycle parts company, Brutal Customs, all with a 4th grade education, no support from parents, insatiable need for beer, choppers, as well as loud music. I have learned a few things here and there about motorcycles and motorcycle companies, and been able to connect with very smart businessy-ish people that have given me a certain perspective on things that I will be sharing right now. What Harley just did and why they're doing it. So what the fuzz did Harley just do? Well, let's cover that first so you're all caught up. Now, there's a couple things. Firstly, HDFS, which stands for Harley-Davidson Financial Services, is a subsidiary of Harley-Davidson. That's the arm that's responsible for giving out loans to dealers so they can stock up that showroom floor with beautiful inventory. They also provide loans to those riders who want to finance bikes, but they also offer insurance for those bikes. Now, this is smart for 2 reasons. First, having HDFS multiplies the way that Harley can make money from you. And the first way Harley makes money from you is obviously to sell you a motorcycle. Duh. But if they offered you a loan, you can buy the bike and pay more for it over time, because interest. Now, this means more bikes sold by increasing affordability and more money per bike sold by collecting interest over time. Second, by offering insurance, they can increase their annual recurring revenue by selling you a product you can essentially pay for forever and never get anything, which increases the lifetime value of a customer drastically. Now, the downside to the whole loan thing for Harley is only a downside if they need immediate cash, and they do. So I'll share why they need immediate cash in just a second, though. So Harley lets some people pay for a motorcycle a little at a time by offering those loans. That's like giving the rider the bike today. In exchange, Harley gets a tiny money machine. That's the loan. It drops a few dollars every month for 7 years. Now, as long as Harley owns that little money machine, the money comes in slowly. Not all at once, as long as the money machine doesn't break or something. I mean, that's like someone missing their loan payment, right? So after years of giving away bikes in exchange for these black boxes that give out money, today Harley has less cash because it's all locked up in those little money boxes. But the little boxes aren't pumping out money as fast as Harley's spending it. This means Harley is running low on cash it needs to fund its bigger ideas. That's when the black boxes or loans become a problem. It's only a problem when they need money to pay for stuff right now. Harley did indeed find itself in a position where it needed cash to pay for stuff like right freaking now.
I need money.
So what did Harley do? They sold over $5 billion of these loans recently. Now by selling these loans, the buyer of the loans gave them cash, but that wasn't enough. They also needed to sell 9.8% of HDFS to the buyer to get a total of $1.25 billion. While the deal, according to Harley Investor Relations, Bloomberg and MarketWatch, reports that Harley will retain control and about 90% ownership, that kind of signaled they were hurting for more cash and needed to sweeten that deal up. But what does this mean, TJ? I'm getting there. Calm your tits. I'm actually doing something. So, Harley basically now has a bunch of cash. And what would you do with $1.25 billion? Probably blow it on fucking dumb shit like the Boo Boo or OnlyFans. Real dumb shit. But Harley is a sophisticated company. Oh yes, they're not your run-of-the-mill gang of dipshits over there. So they decided to put it in the hands of someone who can turn things around. Someone with a good track record for polishing giant turds with shitloads of cash, who can also play Vivaldi's Four Seasons on the violin. That's true. He's quite the violinist. I know you're getting a little chubba-dub-dub there just thinking to yourself, who is this golden stud? Now the new CEO's extremely interesting and checkered background is something that no one's talking about. Enter the main attraction, Artie Starrs. Now everyone is actually judging Harley super hard for the decision on this, but no one's looking any deeper than the fact that he doesn't look very popular in pictures and he doesn't show up with his helmet to the boardroom. Don't be a fucking retard and let this guy slide past you, right? Because he's not an idiot. No matter how much you hate his freaking slacks. Old Navy may be dressing this dude, but what he lacks in style, he really does more than make up for in turning shit around for businesses. Here's what everyone knows about him, and then I'll share what people don't know. First, he was brought in to replace acting CEO Jochen Zeitz. Second, he was announced the new CEO August 4th, 2025 and starts work on October 1st. Third, he ran big brands with global operations. Fourth, he's got an impressive track record for getting companies healthier and growing. Fifth, he's also got recent big wins with Topgolf, taking their growth up 50%. And CEOing Pizza Hut's about 18,000 locations, and a bunch of other stuff. But here are the little-known facts that bring out some very interesting patterns upon closer examination when you look into those SEC filings. It took him 7 years and 8.5 months from being hired at Rave Cinemas before Rave announced its sale. Took him another 2 years and 2 months at Grubhub before they announced that they were selling. Interesting. And finally, it took him only 1 year and 6 months before a major sale event occurred at Pizza Hut. As CEO over Pizza Hut, he actually successfully oversaw the sale of NPC International, which is Pizza Hut's largest franchise. So you could say the guy is getting better and faster at stepping into a company and overseeing and preparing businesses for sale. All right, let's say you own a collectible car that's been around since the 60s, but it's not exactly in desirable shape, kind of beat up. When you go to sell that car, what do? You want to make it look nice, smell nice. You want to, get it to a condition that makes a buyer very attracted to its sexiness. You make sure all the easily perceptible flaws aren't so visible. Now let's say you want to sell that car for the most you can. Well, you want that shit looking and working real freaking nice. But the work you've been doing to it for the past 4 years with this weird German friend of yours is only making that classic car look like a nightmare on 4 flat tires. So what do? I'll tell you what you do. You hire a special someone to detail it and make some deferred repairs that you didn't have the cash for in the past. Someone very gifted in getting cars in their best condition. And if you want them to do a really damn nice job, you tell them, if you do a great job and the car sells for what I want, you will get a cut of the proceeds. How about $7 million if you can get it sold in 3 years? Now, according to Harley's 8K form and offer letter to Starrs, that's what they came up with. And if he hits goals and gets the value of the car way up, that 7 mil could turn to more than 18 million, assuming the value goes up more than double. How's that for a frickin' incentive to polish up the old turd of a vehicle and get it sold? All right, dude, if you didn't follow along with that, Harley is the car that I'm referring to in that little story there, okay? Harley just might think that Artie Starrs is that special person with those fix-it skills. See, when you want to sell a business, financial statements are how you peek under that metaphorical hood. Imagine you're looking for a wife. Do you want a woman riddled in debt, with negative income, no savings, and the only dudes that ride her are a bunch of geriatric boomers? Oh, hell no! So when you go to sell a business, you want the business to have little to no bad debt, lots of cash reserves, reliable income streams that show promise of a future growth, and a stable following. Those are the basic things you want in order before you let buyers peeking under that hood. Now, that's if you want the highest price. And this whole thing could very well be why they sold off those loans. They need the cash to make the business more attractive to a buyer. You follow me? Now, how attractive would that future wife be with, let's say, very little debt, 1.25 billion cash in the bank, and a job that pays millions that she cannot lose? That's looking pretty damn fine, sugar mama. So why was Artie Starrs appointed the new CEO and given such a hefty-ass incentive to turn the business around fast? Well, your guess is actually as good as mine. Well, probably not as good as mine, because mine's usually right and I've done the research, but I'll bet we're on the same page, right? Now, granted, he didn't pull this sales play at Topgolf, but he did increase revenue for them by 50%. That's pretty fucking awesome. Now, was he brought in because Joachim was just sucking donkey dong and literally
upturned broom with a bucket for a head and work for somebody else in this office besides myself?
Companies like Harley do not hire a new CEO willy-nilly. And in fact, Joachim was never hired as CEO. He was just interim CEO and president and was never supposed to be the permanent solution. So what about this dirt cheapish bike they say they're releasing? I mentioned this earlier. Why would they be doing that? Especially after the last 4 years of doubling down on selling only higher end premium bikes. They literally killed all the entry-level bikes just a few years ago. So why the sudden change of heart? Well, Harley's current audience is primarily really old boomers. And those old dudes are dying way faster than poor young dudes are becoming rich old dudes. Which means Harley has a very quickly shrinking pool of potential buyers. So to fix that, they need to start attracting the younger, poorer crowd. Enter the Sprint, the $6,000 motorcycle, allegedly. And if you want to learn more about that, you can go watch my video, Harley Just Made a Comeback or a Huge Mistake. Check it out. So getting back to the issue at hand. The issue here is that selling isn't the only reason Harley could be taking all these actions. They could be getting their business in shape for a merger or a sale. Who knows? Maybe they'll merge with Tesla and Elon will release the Cyberbike shaped like a toaster. I bet you'd love to get that thing stuck on the Rubicon next to that Cybertruck. Now, a merger is definitely a possibility, and when that happens, there's typically big changes that follow. Those changes could be beneficial or they could be disastrous. Or Harley could be planning for a buyback, essentially taking its shares out of the market, and they would need a lot of cash to do that. So what do you think all this mumbo jumbo means? Will Harley sell? Will they merge? Let me know in the comments if you think we should just try and interview Artie Starrs himself right here and let the guy tell us all what his plans are himself.